Thank you, Presiding Officer. And on a personal level, can I wish Humza Yousaf well as he prepares to leave office? I think it's been clear that I have disagreed with many of the policies he has introduced in his time, but he has served our country as First Minister for a year and in government for over a decade. And it's also been very clear during his time in office, and particularly during his resignation statement on Monday, that family is important to him. It is integral to everything he does. And while he will have reflections and I'm sure regrets over the coming months and years, I know he will take comfort in being able to spend more time with the family he cherishes, and one that is going to get bigger in a few months' time, so we wish him well for that as well. But, Presiding Officer, Scottish Conservatives will vote in favour of the motion today. We want to see the SNP government removed and will look to use every opportunity to do so. Yet Labour have failed to build the majority they need in this Parliament to achieve that. In contrast, my party's vote of no confidence in Humza Yousaf was successful. Humza Yousaf has announced he is resigning from the office of First Minister. And it was the Scottish Conservatives who built a parliamentary majority to force him out. That's what strong opposition can deliver, and that is just the first step. We want to get rid of this entire distracted, divided SNP government. And the upcoming general election will have a chance to deliver another blow to them. In seats across Scotland, it's only the Scottish Conservatives who can get rid of the SNP, just like we're getting rid of Humza Yousaf, and get the focus back onto the priorities of people right across this country. But as we look ahead to the interim period, where we are now, the would-be successors to Humza Yousaf are hardly rushing out the blocks to seize that poison chalice to lead the SNP. But two names are being mentioned to take over. And it's interesting, both are creeping a little further to the front bench and are ideally placed for us today, one behind the other, so I'm sure the cameras will get a great shot of them. But it looks as though Nicola Sturgeon's Health Secretary will either be replaced by Nicola Sturgeon's Deputy or Nicola Sturgeon's Finance Secretary. And what does this say about the current Scottish Government? Each of the individuals on the front bench today, handpicked by Humza Yousaf to run departments of this Government, have ruled themselves out. They don't want to do it. Never mind the opposition having no confidence in this Government, it seems none of the Government ministers have confidence in themselves. But the frontrunners, though, represent continuity. Kate Forbes ran Scotland's economy when it lagged behind the rest of the United Kingdom. Her budgets put up taxes on Scottish workers and failed to pass on vital relief to Scottish businesses. And Kate Forbes has said she wants to hold an independence referendum within 3 months of a general election. She's an even more radical nationalist than Humza Yousaf and Nicola Sturgeon. Then, Presiding Officer, there's Honest John. If he's successful, Scotland faces
Mr. Ross, we do not use nicknames in the chamber.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was on accuracy, because it would be not so Honest John with some of the things we've heard recently.
Mr. Ross, I would ask you to apologise and then continue.
But then there's...
Mr. Ross, if you might apologise and then continue.
Yes. Then there's John Swinney.
Sorry, Mr. Ross, sorry. You may not be able to hear me. I'd be grateful if you would apologise for that and then continue.
I will apologise. I'm very sorry for any hurt caused. But if John Swinney is successful, we face the dreadful prospect of Nicola Sturgeon's prodigy being replaced by Nicola Sturgeon's right-hand man. Of going from the man who ruined Scotland's NHS to the man who ruined Scotland's education system. Of going from one failed leader to a leader who has already failed. Whichever nationalist wins, we already know they'll obsess about independence. We will remain the highest tax part of the United Kingdom for workers and businesses. 1 in 7 Scots will remain on an NHS waiting list. Scottish education will continue to fall down international rankings. Dualling key roads like the A9 and the A96 will continue to be delayed. Police numbers will continue to drop and dangerous criminals will be let off with reduced sentences. Whether we have a bitter battle or a cosy coronation to elect the next leader of the SNP, they will continue campaigning for independence, and the Scottish people will continue